everyone, I'm Allison Klein. I'm a reporter for Education Week. I cover federal policy, but I was really lucky to get to write about parent engagement for a profile of Patricia Spradley. As you all know, she works in the Springfield, Massachusetts School District, and in that role, she started the district's Parent Academy, which she calls SPA, short for Springfield Parent Academy. I don't know if there were manicures or no. The Springfield Parent Academy aims to do much more than just help children's parents fill out their college application or help them with tutoring. You have courses on everything from knitting, cooking. I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about how you came up with that model.
Well, it's been a challenge for us, as probably most, to engage parents and families. And in Springfield, we talk about moving from involvement to engagement. It's pretty easy to involve parents because if you let their kids perform or you have a potluck, you can get parents involved. Engagement is a two-way communication. It's real partnering. And so what we realized early on was that everybody who's responsible for student success, they receive resources, supports, and professional development to be able to do that. Yet, parents and family members who are the educators, the first educators of their children, did not have that opportunity. And so the creation of the Springfield Parent Academy, after going, researching and going across the country, seeing some of the different ways in which that happened, what we did a little bit different in Springfield was we have three kinds of courses. The first and very important is that we provide courses where parents are able to help their children academically. Another, because it was a challenge to get parents engaged, was to create some courses that are fun. So the knitting, the cooking, the singing, becoming a certified lifeguard, those were things that we thought were fun. But what has gained us the most leverage, what was the real game changer, was developing and providing opportunities for parents to build capacity. And so when you talk about having a parent who doesn't have a high school education being afforded the opportunity to get their GED, when you talk about a parent who has dreamed about going to college yet can't afford it and offering a free course and an opportunity to see what a campus really feels like, when you're talking about a parent who doesn't have English as their first language, being able to afford them that opportunity, these are things that in an urban district, parents don't have. These are things that we have taken for granted for so long. That's been the game changer. And lastly around that, I could talk about that part of it forever, is that when you afford a student the opportunity for their parent or caring adult to be learning and continually learning, it's what we expect of our children. But we as educators, when we go back and send those kids back to their environments, we need to make sure that they are fully supported. And the only way that I can think of that is almost foolproof is give parents the capacity to be able to do that.
Thank you for that. Part of the evaluation system now for teachers in Massachusetts is a parent outreach component. And I know you've been working with your teachers to build capacity in that area. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I call the educator evaluation, I tell everybody in Springfield, that's my strand, that's my standard. But what I tell them really directly, when you talk about being a leader and taking risk, I tell them, you know what, you might not be there yet, but fake it till you make it. But right now, that standard 3, that strand 3, is tied directly to your pocketbook. So you might want to look at parent engagement a little bit differently than you've been looking at it, and you might realize that you need now demonstrated evidence of what real parent engagement looks like, so that sheet or roster of parents that come to the potluck dinner, or you're touting, 100 parents came into my school. That's not the demonstrated evidence. We want to see those parents that most need the capacity to be able to support theirs. We don't want the parents that are going to show up whether we send out a flyer or have their kids perform. Keep coming, but we really need in front of us those parents where the children absolutely have every single right to succeed, but we know that we have to give you, caring adult, parent, aunt, uncle, grandmother, great-grandmother, those people that are forced even to raise their children when it wasn't their choice, we must build capacity within those families if that's what we're going to do to really get every child. I mean, all of my new friends and colleagues have said it's about all kids. But guess what? In Springfield and the work that I'm engaged in, it's about all parents and caring adults. We have to get it done. It's hard work.
Your work involves, as we've talked about, much more than just the Parent Academy. Your office is kind of this nexus, as you described it to me, for parents and teachers, but also support staff, community leaders. I know you have deep connections with the business community. How do you get all these just really different groups of people to relate to one another?
Well, could approach that a couple of different ways, but you know when you have meetings, like everybody comes with their agenda. And so usually in the beginning of the meeting, it's about, I just say, could we check our egos and agendas at the door? Because we're really about doing some real work. And so that's like the kind of trying to make it equal playing field. But then it's really about relationships. So there's a lot of listening that has to happen. And sometimes I'll be honest to say that has not always been my strength. But in parent engagement work, it has quickly become my strength to listen. And so listening to what parents say, listening to what the community says, and then trying to decipher what I heard and then what really was a common bond for us to begin to have some collaboration and coordination and alignment. So it's really about the relationship piece, because once you develop the relationship, you can pretty much get people to do what you want and need them to do. Because they don't really care what you know until you show them that you care. And so that listening, and then that, even though you said it this way, this is what I heard, just to get us all on the same page. And that has gone a long way for the checking the ego, the it's not about you, which I heard so many of my colleagues and new friends say. It's not about you. What is it that it's really about at the end of the day is really about us ensuring that every child has the opportunity. There's equity for everybody, but I just translate that to the families. So every community partner, faith-based, doesn't matter. That's what I say. We got to find a couple of things. And there's a whole bunch of things to cover, but there's only so many hours in a day. Let's pick a couple of things that we can all agree on to start working.
You've talked a lot about alignment, and I'm wondering how you make sure that, especially community members' goals, what they might want to contribute, how do you make sure that those goals are in sync with what the district is wanting to do? Well,
like every district, we have our plan, our strategic plan, and in Springfield we have 4 core goals. And so over the years, decades, community partners, we've been fortunate in Springfield. Every one of our schools has a minimum of 1 partner. And many schools have several, but what they used to provide for us versus what we now need them to provide is very different. And so we created a community contribution process that outlines those 4 goals, and there's areas underneath that. So when someone wants to partner with us in Springfield, unless it fits under one of those 4 puzzle pieces, not right now. Because we have some high accountability stakes to meet. And so when they talk about accountability, it's not just about educators in the district. It's about parents needing to be accountable. It's about community partners. It's even about faith-based organizations. We say to all of the faith-based organizations, whether you're at a synagogue, a Baptist church, a mosque, we don't care. Can you give a message about the importance of effective parenting? That's important. Weave it any way you need to, but that kind of stuff is important. So aligning with and being able to tell people, no, that doesn't fit with where we're going right now. I think a lot of times we're afraid to say that because there's money attached sometimes. But realistically, the popcorn popper, the new rugs, the pencils that have your name on it, they were cute 3 or 4 decades ago. But it's just not going to cut it right now for what we need in terms of getting our kids to succeed. So what we need is, can you release some of those employees that you have and help some of our principals understand what it means to do a business plan or a budget? Can you come and have some of our parents understand what savings means at the lowest level to start? Some of them don't understand that. But so that alignment piece, the tool, the community contribution process helps us to be able to say no or not right now, but please, we need you, but we have a real direct focus on where we need you to help us partner to really get the job done. But it's taking a risk to say no.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it. And next up, my colleague, Evie Blad, is going to be talking to Christopher Chapman. So thank you.